It starts like a scene you've lived more than once. The room is quiet, bodies close, breath still uneven. Her body gave you every signal a man is taught to look for tension. Release. That unmistakable moment where you know something happened. By every rule you were taught, you won. And then, almost immediately, something breaks. She turns away, not dramatically, just enough to feel wrong. The air goes cold. The silence isn't peaceful, it's hollow. You wait for her eyes to come back to you, to lock in, to confirm what just happened meant something. They don't. And that's when it hits you in the stomach, harder than rejection ever could. Because this wasn't failure in the obvious sense. She climaxed. Her body responded. So why does it feel like she left you behind in the bed? This is the shock most men are never prepared for. A woman can reach climax and still feel absolutely nothing afterward. Not regret, not confusion, emptiness, because what just happened never touched her identity. Her body reacted, but her mind stayed guarded. Her nervous system fired, but her sense of self never opened. You didn't lose her in that moment. You were never fully there with her to begin with. Climax, for a woman, is not proof of connection. It's proof of stimulation. And when stimulation ends without psychological weight to anchor it, the moment evaporates. Her body exhales. Her mind disconnects. And what's left in the room is that quiet distance you can't explain, but always feel. Once you see this, everything changes, because the question stops being how to make her respond and becomes why nothing stayed with her when it was over. Here's what most men never hear, and once you hear it, you can't unsee it. A woman's climax is not proof of intimacy. It's proof of stimulation. That distinction matters more than anything, because stimulation lives in the body, while intimacy lives in identity. Her nervous system can light up, muscles contract, breath change, chemistry surge, and none of that requires her to open herself psychologically. Her body can respond on autopilot while her sense of self stays protected, watching from a distance. This isn't deception, it's conditioning. Long before she ever understood her own desire, she was trained to perform it. She learned how to respond in ways that made moments smoother, how to please in ways that avoided conflict, and most importantly, how to protect a man's ego even when she felt absolutely nothing inside. That training doesn't disappear in the bedroom. It follows her there. So when the moment ends and there was no psychological anchoring, no sense of being chosen, no emotional tension held, no frame strong enough to contain what just happened, her body does exactly what it's designed to do. It exhales. The nervous system resets, and her mind disconnects. Not dramatically, quietly. What floods in isn't regret, and it isn't guilt. It's emptiness, because nothing stayed with her once the stimulation stopped. This is where most men make the same mistake without realizing it. They escalate too hard inside the moment, chasing reaction, intensity, proof, or they collapse immediately after, softening, checking, seeking reassurance with their energy. Both moves kill the same thing: psychological gravity. The playbook here is subtle, and that's why it works. You don't escalate when her body responds, no rushing to secure meaning through performance. And you don't collapse afterward, no questions that beg for validation. Instead, you hold. You let the moment breathe. You name what happened without asking her to certify it. A simple line, said slowly, grounded. That was intense. Not did you like it? Not was that good for you? You're not collecting feedback. You're setting a frame. Then you allow silence to exist, because silence is where her nervous system integrates experience. Breaking it too fast steals the imprint. And when you finally move, you lead outward with calm direction. Come here, or let's slow this down. No permission seeking. No over-nurturing. That's how stimulation becomes something more. That's how something stays with her after the body stops reacting. Emptiness comes from one thing, and it's not subtle once you see it. She never felt chosen, only stimulated. Her body reacted because bodies are built to respond to rhythm, pressure, timing, chemistry. That part is mechanical, automatic, predictable. But her identity was never invited into the moment. Her desire was activated, but it was never held. And that's the fracture point most men miss. You followed the physical sequence perfectly, but you never led the emotional frame that gives the sequence meaning. So when stimulation ends, there's nothing left behind. No psychological residue, no imprint, no gravity, just silence. Here's the brutal mechanism underneath it. When her body responds without her identity being seen, she experiences the moment as something that happened to her, not something that included her. She didn't feel selected. She felt engaged. And those are not the same thing. Selection is psychological. It says, I see you, and I'm choosing this moment with you. Engagement is physical. It says, your body fits the stimulus. One creates depth, the other creates emptiness when it's over. This is why she can climax and still feel hollow seconds later. The body finished its job. The mind never arrived. Most men accidentally cause this by chasing the wrong proof. They escalate inside the moment, trying to lock in intensity as confirmation that something real is happening. Faster, stronger, more focused on outcome. Or they collapse right after, softening too quickly, reaching for reassurance with their energy, silently asking her to tell them it mattered. Both moves communicate the same thing: you're reacting to her response instead of containing it. And containment is what makes desire feel real to her. The playbook here is about leadership without urgency. When her body responds, you don't chase it. You stay grounded. You let her feel that the moment isn't running you. Then you mark the experience without asking her to validate it. A line like, "Stay right there," or "Don't move," said calmly, does more than any performance ever could. It tells her you're present enough to hold what's happening. Afterward, you don't rush to fill the silence. Silence is where integration happens. Breaking it too fast collapses the frame. And when you finally move or speak again, you direct not to control her, but to anchor the moment. "Come sit with me," or "We're not done yet." That's how stimulation becomes something that stays. That's how silence turns into gravity instead of emptiness. There are two mistakes that create emptiness faster than anything else, and most men fall into one of them without even realizing it. The first is escalation, chasing intensity, as if more sensation will somehow force meaning into the moment. You go faster, harder, more focused, more determined to prove something. You treat her response like a scoreboard and push because you think connection is earned through performance. What she feels in that moment isn't desire deepening, it's pressure rising. Her body may still climax because the stimulus is there, but her mind steps back. The internal message she receives is simple and brutal. He wants a reaction, not me. She becomes something to trigger, not someone to be with. And the more you escalate, the more she disconnects internally, even if everything looks successful on the surface. The correction here isn't doing less, it's holding more. When her body responds, you don't chase the response. You slow your internal tempo. You let intensity exist without feeding on it. A grounded pause, a hand stilling instead of pushing. A calm directive like "stay right there" does more than any extra effort ever could. You're not escalating sensation, you're containing it. That containment is what keeps her identity present instead of slipping away. The second mistake is collapse, and it happens right after. The moment ends and you soften too fast. Your energy starts asking questions you never say out loud. You seek reassurance. You over-nurture. You fill the space with care that's really anxiety in disguise. From her side, the signal is immediate. He needs validation now. Attraction leaks in real time when this happens. Respect thins because leadership dissolves, and the emptiness deepens, not because she's cold, but because the frame that held the moment just disappeared. The playbook here is restraint. After intimacy, you don't rush to comfort or explain. You don't check in with questions like, "Are you okay?" or "Was that good for you?" Those are collapses. Instead, you let silence exist. Silence is not awkward here, it's integration. If you speak, you name the moment without asking for confirmation. Something as simple as that shifted things, or that was intense, keeps the frame intact. Then, when you move, you lead outward. "Come here," or "Let's slow this down," said calmly, anchors her nervous system. You're not withdrawing, and you're not chasing. You're holding. And when you avoid both escalation and collapse, emptiness has nowhere to form. Women don't feel fulfilled by climax. That's the lie most men were handed, and it's why they keep confusing intensity with depth. Fulfillment happens when desire doesn't just surge and disappear, but moves through her and stays. When the moment has weight after the sensation fades, when her body settles and her mind doesn't feel abandoned. That staying quality doesn't come from urgency, it comes from containment, from presence that doesn't need to rush or prove, from leadership that isn't hungry for outcome. This is the core truth. The more you chase fulfillment through climax, the less fulfilled she feels. Because fulfillment is psychological before it is physical. Containment means you're not trying to extract something from the moment. You're not escalating to squeeze more intensity out of her body. And you're not collapsing afterward to get reassurance that it mattered. You're present enough to let desire pass through her nervous system without hijacking it. Presence tells her, without words, this moment isn't bigger than me. Approval-seeking tells her the opposite. Hunger tells her you need something from her response. And the second she feels that need, desire starts leaking out of the room. This is where the playbook shifts from technique to orientation. During the moment, you don't stack stimulation on stimulation. You let tension exist without trying to cash it in immediately. A simple directive like "slow down" or "stay with me" keeps the experience grounded instead of frantic. Afterward, you don't rush to soothe or explain. You don't ask questions that hand her the authority to decide whether the moment had value. You let silence do its work. Silence is not absence here, it's integration. If you speak, You mark the moment without seeking confirmation. That changed the energy. Or, that was real, said calmly. Anchors experience without begging for validation. Leadership is what replaces hunger. Leadership doesn't mean dominance. It means direction, without anxiety. When you eventually move or transition, you guide the next beat instead of waiting for her to define it. Come with me, or let's sit for a minute. Keeps the frame intact. You're not escalating, and you're not collapsing. You're holding the center. And that's what makes desire feel safe enough to stay inside her instead of evaporating. This is the part no one teaches men because it doesn't look impressive from the outside. There's nothing flashy about it. But it's the difference between a moment that ends when the body does and a moment that continues to live in her long after. This is where everything you've heard so far becomes usable, not as tactics, but as calibration. Because preventing emptiness isn't about doing more, it's about stopping the two reflexes that destroy depth escalation and collapse. Step 1 is holding the frame, and it starts the moment intimacy ends. You do nothing, no performing to extend the high, no explaining what just happened, no seeking signs that it mattered. You stay still, grounded, present in your body. That stillness communicates something powerful without a single word. I'm not here to take anything from this moment. I'm here to hold it. Most men rush past this because stillness feels risky. In reality, it's what allows her nervous system to land instead of scatter. Step 2 is naming the moment without asking her to validate it. One line, low tone, slow delivery. Something like, that was intense. Not as a question, not as a test. You're not asking her to confirm your experience. You're setting the frame. The moment you ask, was that good for you, or did you like it? You hand her authority over the meaning of what just happened, and you signal need. Naming without asking keeps leadership intact and allows her to relax into the experience instead of evaluating it. Step 3 is delaying comfort, and this is where most men fail. Silence appears, and panic kicks in. They rush to fill the space, to soothe, to reassure, to fix an emotion that doesn't need fixing. Silence here is not rejection, it's integration. Her nervous system is processing. Breaking that silence too fast steals the imprint because it interrupts the settling phase. If she speaks first, you listen without interrupting. If she doesn't, you remain present without withdrawing. This is the difference between collapse and containment. Step 4 is reclaiming direction. After the pause, you don't drift. You lead outward calmly. Simple phrases work best. Come here. Let's get some water. We're going to slow this down. These aren't requests, and they're not checks for approval. They're direction. Direction tells her body something her mind needs to hear. You're safe, and someone is holding the shape of this moment. That's where fullness replaces emptiness, not through intensity, but through gravity. This works because the emptiness she feels afterward has nothing to do with sex. It's existential. Her body completed a cycle, but nothing claimed the moment as meaningful. No one held the experience long enough for it to register as real inside her. When stimulation ends without structure, the nervous system resets, and the mind is left asking an unspoken question. What was that for? That question is where emptiness lives, not in regret, not in disappointment, but in the absence of anchoring. She climaxed, yes, but the moment passed through her, without leaving a psychological footprint. When you hold the frame, that question never forms. Her body settles because it isn't being rushed or chased. There's no escalation pulling her forward, and no collapse dragging her into caretaking you emotionally. The stillness you hold gives her system permission to land. Her mind stays because it isn't forced to evaluate or reassure. You're not asking her to confirm meaning, so she doesn't have to step outside the experience to judge it. And her desire integrates instead of fragmenting. Integration is the key word here. It's the difference between sensation that spikes and disappears, and desire that becomes part of her internal narrative. This is why direction matters after intimacy. Not control, not dominance direction. A calm line like, "Come here," or "Stay with me" for a second tells her system that the moment is still being held. You're not escalating it into something bigger, and you're not collapsing into uncertainty. You're containing it. That containment is what transforms stimulation into grounding. Without it, silence feels empty. With it, silence feels full. Most men think fulfillment comes from making something happen. In reality, fulfillment comes from holding what happened. When you resist the urge to prove, explain, or seek reassurance, you give her something rare: psychological gravity. Gravity is what keeps experiences from floating away the second the body relaxes. And when gravity is present, emptiness can't form. Instead of feeling hollow, she feels anchored. Anchored in the moment. Anchored in her body. Anchored in the sense that something real just occurred and didn't need to be chased or justified. That's why this works. Not because it's clever, but because it aligns with how her nervous system actually processes intimacy. Hold the frame. Don't escalate. Don't collapse. And the moment doesn't disappear. It stays. Most men spend their lives chasing the wrong victory. They focus on the visible peak, the physical proof, the moment that looks like success from the outside. They try to make women climax, thinking that if the body responds, something meaningful must have happened. But bodies forget quickly. Sensation fades. Chemistry resets. What lasts is never the reaction. It's the weight of the moment itself. Very few men understand how to make a moment stay. And that's why those men are remembered long after the body has moved on. A moment stays when it isn't rushed, claimed, or immediately consumed. It stays when it's held. When you don't escalate to squeeze more out of it. And you don't collapse afterward trying to make sure it mattered. Holding the frame is what turns an experience into memory instead of residue. It tells her system, without words, that nothing is being demanded and nothing is being abandoned. That's rare, and rarity is what creates gravity. This is why the simplest behaviors matter more than the flashiest ones. Staying grounded instead of performing. Naming the moment instead of asking for permission to believe in it. Allowing silence instead of filling it with reassurance. Leading her out of the moment calmly instead of drifting or waiting for cues. A quiet "come here" or "stay with me for a second" does more than any dramatic gesture ever could. Those words don't escalate and they don't collapse. They anchor. Psychological gravity is what separates men who are temporarily exciting from men who linger in a woman's inner world. Gravity is what makes her think about a moment later without knowing why. What makes her feel settled instead of empty. What makes desire integrate instead of scatter. And gravity only exists when someone is strong enough not to chase and not to disappear. If any part of this felt uncomfortably familiar, you already know why it matters. You felt the silence that didn't feel right. You've sensed the distance that followed a moment that should have connected. This isn't about learning tricks. It's about understanding how intimacy actually lands inside a woman's nervous system. This channel isn't about sex. Sex is easy. This is about psychological gravity, the invisible force that makes moments hold, memories form, and desire stay. Subscribe if you're done chasing reactions and ready to learn how to create moments that don't disappear.